What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode, another week of the What the Fuck podcast. I'm Nick. That's Gunk. Gunk,
What's
happy
up?
Thanksgiving.
Happy
We
Thanksgiving to
are
everyone out there.
we are back, and we have two different tales going on here.
Yes,
Uh,
we do.
I'm not sure what's going on. uh,
The changing of the guard in this area. I mean, the Devils are really real heating up. I mean, we had a little bump the other night, but you just had the same bump against the same team. I mean, I guess the Jim Montgomery effect is really working out for St. Louis so
hmm,
far. They hit two in a row since he started, so maybe they're back on track.
maybe. I mean, they. I don't really. It feels weird the way they handled this situation because it was kind of just like Drew Bannister, you're fired. Let's now just have this guy ready to go. Like,
Yeah, it was it really the wheels went in motion really fast on his deal because I mean he only got fired like 5 days before they hired
mm,
him. I mean, woof, like they were ready to go. I mean, poor Bannister never even got a chance with the team and stuff. But again, I guess sometimes you just need that little extra boost. You never know when you got to just replace a player, replace a coach, just the little things. And it seems like it's sparking St. Louis a little bit. They came out really well against the Devils the other night, played a really good game. They got the first goal which was a horrible goal because it should have been a penalty, but we won't say nothing about that. But great pass though. Thomas buried it right past Markstrom, and right after they celebrated his 500th thing, which was like to me, I was like, oh man, they did this damn ceremony for 20 minutes. And then the fucking poor Markstrom gives up the first shot. It's 9 seconds into the game. I'm like, there ain't no way he should. We would never. Let's never have one for a current player ever again because he came out the box looking like garbage, and I felt so bad because his little cute kid with his jacket on was the best part of that thing. Oh, and the little kid with the little stick was so great. But like I said, that was probably the highlight of the night was watching Markstrom's little ceremony because, like I said, we were down 1-0. We were generating offense. Second and third period, we played really well. But like I said, Binghamton really played really well in net. He got the shutout. I mean, again, you have those games, and it's so weird. The Devils, like, it's either feast or famine with
mm,
them. They either come out, they'll score 4 or 5 goals, or they get shut out. I think this is the fourth time already this year they've been shut
yeah,
out, and not even by good teams. I mean, they got shut out by San Jose. They've now been shut out by St.
I
Louis.
don't count that
I
game
mean,
against
like,
San Jose though because it was just kind of a fluky goal. I mean, it was a 1-0
yeah,
loss on a shitty goal. I
on a
don't, that one doesn't count.
and especially because it was a former Shark that scored it with
Yeah,
Timo Meyer hit off Timo Meyer to go in. So
yeah. So
everyone was saying, "Oh, look at he's just trying to he's trying to play it up for his other
yeah,
team."
it
But
doesn't count.
again, like I said, but yeah, it's been feast or famine. It's like either they're really good, scoring goals, or like I said, they play a really good game but just can't put it in the net. So again, it's something they got to work on. But like I said, so far so good with the Devils. Like I said, I'm so far at the excuse me, at the quarter mark of the season. I'm very impressed with Sheldon Keats coaching. I mean, I've watched a lot of his like after win not press conferences, but the locker room talk, and he's like I said, I feel like there's just juice in the air. You can feel the intensity that this team is feeling way different than the past teams. And like I said, between the toughness of the team, I mean, like I said, they came out the other day against I forgot who they played the game before.
Washington.
The Washington game. Who did Nico score a hat trick against?
Uh,
I forgot.
It was the last. I got it for right here. I'm sorry. It's Black Friday, folks. I got my producer here
Oh,
helping me out with
mm,
podcast today. So if you hear a little noise in the background, that would be my producer over here. As we call her.
yeah.
But I feel so stupid now. I've totally forgot which game it was. It was the Predators game. That's what it was. When they played the Predators. I apologize because again, that was the other thing too. I want to go with Predators. What's going on with them?
they're, they're
They
you had to expect this. This wasn't something that they should have done. I mean, you you had to know that signing a back end of his career Steven Stamkos and Brady Shea to too much money, you kind of had to expect that it wasn't going to work out.
Hmm. And Marchand is a good. I mean, excuse me, Marchand. Marchand is a good player, but he was on that Vegas team. Marshall Shaw. Just I'm bad with these names. Yeah, but even then is that he was playing. He played with the like I said, he played with Vegas and stuff, and he was with good players on that team, and now kind of like he feels like he's getting kind of exposed for he got his big contract now, but he's getting kind of exposed now. He's really slow this year.
Yeah, they just all look like they don't enjoy playing there. And
And they,
if
I'm
it's
sorry.
if it's like this if it's the city, I'm not really sure then why you signed there. Like I'm not
Right.
sure if you had a different idea of what you were going to and now you're confused, I guess, but I mean, it doesn't excuse the way that you're playing right now and it's going through the entire team.
Oh, absolutely. And then the killing part is when I was watching that game the other on Monday night, they look
Mm.
slow. I mean, really slow. They don't play in a fast pace. And for a Devils team that has a lot of youth and a lot of speed on it, it just killed them. I mean, every time it was. I mean, the speed was just killing Nashville in that game. And like I said, Nico with like I said his first career hat trick. We're very happy for that. I mean, if you watch the post game, he was tearing up because the crowd was so into it. And again, this was another point of the Devils season that with that Predators game, Timo Meyer with his 1 game suspension, with the cross check to the guy's grill basically,
Yeah,
which again
I don't
I
that's
mean, it was.
awful.
I mean, it was a relative of a suspension. I can get that, but he said the 5 minute penalty kicked him out of the game. I mean, at least the other guy, because if you watch the play all the way, he starts with Timo, and he's the one that really puts his stick up first, and Timo kind of defends himself, but really did take it to him. So, like I said, I'm not gonna question the suspension. I believe it was bad, but that 5 minute kill that they put on with 7 minutes to go really energized that crowd. And for me, at that point, I felt like this team could be a contender this year. Just the way they played on that power play and the intensity they played. I mean, they rolled on that penalty kill. They rolled all 10 forwards out because they had with the 12 they had of course Nico got the game misconduct. He's out of the game. Dowling's in the box, so you're only playing with 10 forwards, and all 10 forwards played on that penalty kill. And they were fantastic on that penalty kill. I mean, I think it was one shot on goal that Nashville got through the whole 5 minutes. And then, like I said, perfect pass. Dowling comes right out, puts it in the empty net, and game over. So, like I said, for me, the Nashville game was very, very, very telling for how this Devils season can go. But also, I get worried because again, then you come out against St. Louis and you put up, like I said, they played a good second, third period, but you came out flat in the first. They scored 3 goals on you, and then like you're chasing the whole game, which for the Devils, I mean, again, with their firepower, they could be really good with doing that. But sometimes, like I said, it's like feast or famine. It's like either they don't put it in the net, or like I said, they're putting it in all the time. So like I said, we got a nice game today. We got a good another marker game where I think we should be, really good again against Detroit. And then we got the big battle on Monday night, which I know I'm looking
I
forward
feel
to. I
like
don't know about you as a
your
Rangers fan
big
there.
battle is tomorrow.
Yes, I agree with that
Yeah, no,
too.
your
But
big battle isn't
every
against that sideshow. Um,
oh well, we can get into that in a few minutes. But
yeah, I mean, pretty solid game you have coming up against Detroit. I mean, that
yeah,
should be a good game. Detroit has looked okay. I
absolutely.
mean, Detroit's such a weird team. They have a roster that should be good and they're just okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, they were really good. Like I said, their roster really good. But like I said, playing. Let's see. Oh, I'm on the wrong freaking month.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, the Caps,
Yeah.
right? Oh, the Caps. Yeah, that's a son of a bitch. Well, I know it's a little rant, but again, Connor fucking McMichael last Saturday against the Devils, scoring that goal to get it within
I
one.
saw
And
that.
I did some, and I'm sorry, like I said, I don't know who's gonna hear this or whatever, however it gets out, but I cannot fucking stand Connor McMichael. I don't know why. It's just something about him. He got into it with Nico a little bit. They both got roughing penalties, but he just annoys the fuck out of me. I don't know why. And again, it's one of those weird things that you just don't know why he does, but he annoys the fuck out of me. And yes, that would be a good test on Saturday, especially coming off, the back-to-back games, playing today and then we're playing right back in it on Saturday night. But again, I'm looking forward to the Rangers game. Just again, I know, like I said, I know all this stuff is going on with the Rangers, and we could talk about it in a few minutes. But like I said, I feel like always the Rangers, especially in this area, Rangers are always the top mark. So you want to beat them. So Monday's going to be a really, really good game. I'm looking forward to it. But as we talk about the Rangers, let's segue into a lot of discussion about the Rangers, a lot of trade talks and Drury not happy. I mean, what's your opinion on that, my friend? I mean, drop us some knowledge.
A lot of what is happening right now with this team is being directed at some of the wrong guys.
I could
And
agree with that.
I don't really understand where you're improving the team by trading somebody like Chris Kreider.
That was the name when I heard these rumors. I was really like wow, that came out of left field because Kreider's has
He's
again
never been the
great power play
problem,
person.
and I'm seeing so many more
Not
people saying the same thing, and I'm glad that I'm that I have people with me on this. He's not the problem. He never has been.
no, absolutely
I
not.
understand you probably can't move Mika because where is he going with
Right,
that much money being made with what you have to try to retain on something, and you don't want to have to do that, and no
right.
team has cap space. So I mean, to try to just throw names out there to hope that it's going to work, that's going
Like you
to
said,
make it worse.
yeah, and like I said, who are you gonna get like you said, just to shake it up? Who's out there that they can really like even like you said, even salary for salary? Who do you really want? Because if another team is looking to trade that kind of player, they're probably not doing well with that team. So, you're trading, a problem for a problem. But again, I feel like Kreider was the name that was out there. I'm like, why would they want to trade Chris Kreider? The Truba thing I could totally get because again, you guys were looking to trade him in the offseason. He kind of rejected the trade. So
I don't know who you get for him either. That's the problem.
right, exactly.
Like
And we were talking about this during the offseason too. Like who would you get for, somebody like that?
I I couldn't even fathom a guess to try to even have
Right.
an idea because what do you he's a third pairing defenseman that makes
Yeah,
$8 million. Where is he going
right.
for somebody to want to take that?
Absolutely. No,
And then
I totally
and then you
agree.
see Capo Caco's name coming back up again. I would I wouldn't go trading him just yet. I feel like he would be something that I would look at it for the deadline. His play right now has been pretty good, so I don't want to take that away from him, but he keeps saying that ice time is an issue. And you've been playing on one of the best lines on the team. You've been playing a lot. I don't think ice time has been an issue.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't understand. Like, if you're playing to that standard and you're complaining about ice time still, you're really just trying to, I guess, pick at straws to try to figure out anything to try to complain about. Cause
Absolutely.
yeah, you haven't really scored much. Like, you have 3 goals and 9 assists. That's 12 point. That's better than most seasons that you've had so far. And to go back on
Yeah.
ice time against Carolina, 11 minutes, St. Louis game 15, Edmonton 14, Calgary he only played 9, and Vancouver he played 12. That's pretty good ice time.
Absolutely, yes. Especially for a forward. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, he's around his average for ice time. I mean, it's pretty good. It's between 13 and 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if it's ice time that you're complaining about, that's not really what we're looking for here. We're looking for a lot different because
Mm-hmm.
now you're looking for something to just try to wake the team up. It's not even like
Yeah,
one
exactly.
small move to try to fix something here. You got to fix everything. You've dropped
Right.
four straight. You have a game today in Philly where the Flyers play you tough. The Flyers play you real
Yes,
tough. So
absolutely.
you have to try to not play down to them and they play above you. You lose five straight, somebody gets fired, or you have a trade done immediately after the game.
Right. No, absolutely. And then you got to know, like I said, you got the next game coming up against, Montreal on Saturday too. So you got this back to back. So this is gonna be a little stretch right here where again we were just talking about the Devils stretch. This is gonna be a tough stretch for the Rangers. Like you said, especially if they lose both of these games to Philly and a Montreal, and especially the Montreal game. If you're coming off a loss and you lose to Montreal, there's going to be heads rolling because these fans out here, I know I could just tell by Rangers fans the way they're passionate now, they're going to go berserk if they lose to these two, as they say, lower bottom
Hmm.
teams. I mean, it's, you know, I as personally, like I said, you look at the record and you can't tell that there's the problem, but as close as we are to, it's becoming a problem because now they just don't think they can win a cup with this core right now.
Yeah, I and it's surprising that you go to the Eastern Conference Final and this is how you're playing. You would think you'd want to get back there and try to do more.
Absolutely.
But I mean, they're also talking about like Kreider came out and was talking about, oh, it's good to get this shit out early and everything, and it's just like, when does it get to a point that there shouldn't be this bullshit? Like,
Absolutely.
when should the team that we are icing out there not have to deal with this bullshit?
Absolutely. No, I agree.
And I'm seeing a lot of people talking about how Laviolette has lost the room already. I don't think it's that. I just think this team is so in their heads that they can't play hockey right.
Right.
I don't think it's the coach. I genuinely think it's the players. So
Like I said,
it's this
I
is
think
insane.
that personally from the outside perspective, like I said, I feel like I said, if you look at their record, right now, I mean, they're in playoff contention. They're real, but this franchise is looking with this core wants to win a cup, and as they're built right now, and the way they're playing, they are not built for it. And like you said, who knows, like what kind of move can you make to even shake this up? Because you make the wrong move, and you're gonna fall back in the standings, and you got all this, you got Shishirkin's contract coming up. You got, players you really can't move because, just because of their salaries.
It's
So
getting to a
it's like,
point where with Igor's contract coming up, I I don't want you. I don't want it.
yeah, and
Like,
again, it feels like your wheels are just like rolling in motion and you just can't go forward. It's like, the wheels are spinning, but you're just not going anywhere.
yeah, I just there's nobody that I want on this team right now. There Igor has just looked terrible. I'm not sure if like we were talking about last week, if it's the contract. I'm not sure what it is,
Right.
but you just got to go look at the third goal that Carolina scored the other night. What are you doing? You don't drop down on a wraparound and it just dinks off your skate and dribbles in. Are you kidding me? Get down. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you're not playing right. Nobody is. And it's getting, like I keep saying, it's getting to a point where nobody should be here, but everybody's stuck here.
Right.
Um
Exactly. And it's going to be hard to move players with the salaries that these players have. I mean, especially like the higher top end players.
yeah, I mean, you don't you're really not trying to move those guys either, so you're looking at people I guess on defense, like Truba, like Miller, like Lindgren, and
Mm-hmm.
you could get value out of Miller and Lindgren trades. So I could at least respect that if you were to trade those to try to figure out something. Like you could get a solid defenseman back for Lindgren and then a pretty solid forward or something for Kate.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't be in this position. Every single
Right.
player on the ice just does not look like they know what they're doing. It doesn't look like they want to know what they're doing. The and I go back real quick to the Laviolette has lost the room comment. I think the team has just lost themselves. Like the New York Rangers have forgotten themselves.
No, absolutely. Like I said, they look like a team. Like I said, from the outside, look like a team that's kind of like just lost right
Yeah,
now, and they just don't know which direction, which direction they want to go in right now. Like they're in that space where they're a really good team, but they're not good enough to win a cup, but they're also not good enough to drop in the standings where they're going to, pick up, draft picks and stuff. So you're kind of in this little bubble of like you just don't know where to go. Like, do you break it all down to, back to the core again and retry again, or do you try to pick up some veterans, some solid veterans, make trades, stuff like that. But again, we go back to who's going to take these contracts that you guys have that, trade them back. And the only thing you're going to get back is probably, you're not going to get back somebody that's having a good season. You're going to get somebody that maybe has name value, but is having like, a little bit of an off season. Like I said, you just don't know which direction you should go right now. And it's hard I know it's hard. If it was my team, it'd be really like really frustrating. But right now, like I said, these Ranger fans are really flipping out, and like I said, either they got to get it together, or like I said, they're gonna have to take this team apart. And I hate to see it because I felt like this core, just watching them over the last couple of years, are a really good team, and it's something just off about the team. It just seems like again, this is also like I said,
that
outside perspective.
there's just so much. I think it's confusion at this point. Like you you expect to win games and now you're not.
Right,
So
exactly.
I'm not really again, I'm not sure what the disconnect is. You're gonna have to see how they play in Philly,
Right.
but you better come out strong because if you lose this game, I think you're pretty much almost done.
Yeah, and like I said, this is what I was talking about. These two games right here, they both Rangers and excuse me, the
Canadians.
Flyers and Canadians. Like I said, the Rangers should come out and they are better than these two teams, and they should come out and win both these games. Really convincingly. And if they don't, like I said, it's going to be a problem. Even if they win, but if they win in a close game or they struggle and stuff, the Rangers fans are going to come for them. So, like I said, these are two pivotal games coming up for you guys this weekend.
Yeah, and then we have the game against the Devils, which
Yes, which again, it's more again. That's more for us fans. That's more fun because we just love bashing each other. But
the
for the teams, it seems like the teams are both going in two separate directions right now. Where the Devils seem like they're on the upswing, and the Rangers are kind of a little bit on the downswing right now. So it's going to be a really
so
interesting game because again, Rangers are always big brother too.
I'm
So
looking at this right now and it's it's baffling to me because the Devils record is 15-8-2. The Rangers is 12-8-1. That is very similar records with two very different mindsets of teams.
exactly. That's the
And I
point I was
think
talking
it's
about. Like with
because it's the way the Rangers are losing games, and that is a problem. Because you
exactly.
look at a team like the Stars and they're 13-8-0. That's pretty much the same record as the Rangers, and
Right.
Dallas fans are more than happy.
Oh,
So I
absolutely.
think
That's
it's
that's
just the way the team is losing at this point that is getting to the fans, and it's getting to the team.
absolutely. No, absolutely. I can totally, like I said, I totally agree with that. I mean, like I said, I didn't, like I said, when I started hearing, like I said, when I heard Elliot Friedman drop that tweet, and I was just like, wow, really? And then I started looking deep into it. I'm like, yeah, these Rangers fans are not happy with this team right now. Because like I said, coming off, like I said, a losing season last year, if I was in that position as a Rangers fan, I mean, as a Devils fan, I know I'd be happy. And right now, like I said, I'm very happy with my team, and like I said, very similar records. I mean, we played 4 more games, but like I said, points wise, I mean, the points, are separate by just what 5 points.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not, right now, yeah, right now the Devils have 32, the Rangers are at 25. That's only a 7 point difference, and we played 4 more games.
Yeah. So I mean,
So so like I said, it's just a perspective of the way it's perspective of the last couple of years where, like I said, the Rangers have been going, to the Eastern Conference Finals, where the Devils are not, haven't had that playoff success as the Rangers. So we have lower expectations for this team. So right now, as I know as a fan, I'm very high on the Devils because of what happened last year. Like I said, you guys are looking at a perspective of last year too, where you guys came out, won the President's Trophy, went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and now you're looking at your record. You're like, what happened? Like, what happened to this team? And you have higher expectations. And right now, like I said, it seems like the Rangers are on the down, or the arrow's pointing down for the Rangers. So it's going to be very pivotal over the next week or so that see if they can either get it together or, like I said, start making moves.
you have I feel like you have to win at least two of the next three games, if not all three, for anything to start turning around.
Absolutely.
And
I
because
can see that from your perspective.
these are good rebound wins. If you can get them, a win against Philly is a big win because you're playing in Philly.
Yeah.
And if you can beat the Devils, that is a good sign for this team, especially if it is a good solid win. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you go up like 2-0, blow it, win 3-2 in overtime after like a
Right.
tough overtime. No, I'm talking like you win maybe 4-2, 5-2.
Right. You want a
You,
dominant win. You want a
not
game
even so
where it's like
much
a 60
dominant.
minute
I just
game.
want convincing.
And
Like
yeah,
I don't want dominant. I want convincing.
right. No, absolutely.
And
Like I said, nice solid. You want a nice solid 60-minute hard playing, goal scoring. Igor making
I want to watch hockey.
ridiculous
I want to
saves.
watch hockey. I don't want to watch
Oh,
cute shit.
you know what? I hear you. I definitely hear you there.
So, I
Like I
mean,
said, because trust me, because years and years of this, I've struggled with it years and years. So, like I said, Rangers fans are getting a little taste of what us Devils fans have been tasting for the last few years, except for the one exception year.
yeah, I mean, and as a lot of people normally talk about standings wise around Thanksgiving, we
Right.
normally have an idea of who the teams in the playoffs generally are. There's normally exceptions. I mean, teams can make runs at any point and just fly up the standings.
Yep.
So, for a very brief idea right now, in the Atlantic, the top three teams in first are the Leafs with 28 points, the Panthers with 27, so it's close race there, and the
Mm-hmm.
Bruins in third with 25.
Which again, we were just talking about Boston, who just fired their coach, won a couple games, and that's why, like I said, so right now it's so tricky with trying to figure out playoff positions because again, 1 or 2 wins and you're right back. You can go from sixth in your division to third in your
Yeah,
division, just kind of like Boston had, because Boston was kind of hanging down there in fourth, fifth place, have won a couple games, and now they're back up to third in the standings and in a playoff position. So like I said, it's going to be really tough, especially like I said, you got Boston, of course you got Tampa Bay. I mean, Buffalo has been playing really well too under Lindy Ruff. They've been playing really well recently. And like I said, us today with Detroit, we got Detroit at 22 points. One win for them, and they're right back in
Oh
it.
yeah,
So
absolutely. So it's
like
really nice to see how competitive it is, but it
Mhm.
makes things a lot harder to deal with.
Right, exactly.
Uh,
And then we move over to the Metro,
yep, it's it's
where we
Carolina.
have Carolina in first with 33. We have the Devils trailing with 3 more games, but they have 32 points. Washington, the one stunner of the year, which I'm again, except for Connor McMichael, but the Caps, have played really well this year. They're standing at 31 points, and then you got the Rangers at
Yep.
25. So right now, and I said this is gonna be a crucial game for you guys too because Philly's only 2 points behind. You lose this game, now you're tied with Philly. Now everyone's flipping out too.
Yeah, but the Rangers, I believe, have the tiebreaker, but it doesn't really matter at that point.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and then like we were saying, the wild card is the Rangers and Tampa. So right now for the
Mhm.
Rangers, the playoffs started today. They'd be playing Toronto, which is a
Right.
different matchup. Um, it's not often you see Metro teams playing Atlantic teams until like
Until the final round.
until the Eastern Conference Final. So that'd be cool.
Yep.
And then the Devils would play the Caps, so you'd get a full 7 game series of Connor McMichael.
Oh, the terror,
Seven
the
games to
heartache in
lighten
my
your team
goddamn
up.
brain. Exactly. Oh God, like I said he's a good player, but I don't know. It's just something about him that annoys the fuck out
Yeah,
of me.
no,
But
that
anyway,
makes
Clay.
sense. But
Anyway, Jay,
yeah, those
we can move on to the West real quick. We'll just go real quick over the West. We got Central. We have this. We have the Jets. Really
wagon.
playing well. I mean, they've kind of slipped off a little bit in the last maybe like 8-9 games, but still solid in first with 36 points. We were just talking about the Wild. They're at 32, and Dallas is at 26, the third place in the
Mhm.
Central.
The
With Colorado, right there, in the wild card spot. And then we're looking at the Pacific with Vegas. Vegas at 31, always a solid team. The surprise Calgary. I
yeah,
mean, Calgary. They've and again, the game they played against the Devils, they've played really well. They're a little scrappy team. You got to watch out
mm,
for them. And LA has been playing really well, especially with Dowry out. With Drew Dowry out, they still have still are keeping up in the in the playoff race with third place 32, and right now in the West our wild cards would be Colorado, which again you can never count out Colorado, especially if they go out and get a goaltender.
mm,
If they could find a way, yeah. Again, it's goaltending is really very very scarce right now in the league, but if they can pull a trade off, and then before the trade deadline this year, pull out a solid veteran goaltender, they'll be in good shape, and their offense and defense are always really good. And then you got Vancouver, who again has fallen off a little bit from last year because they're really dominant the early part of the year last year, got into the
isn't
playoffs and
Vancouver just
made it to the
hurt
second
though?
round. Yeah, again, you got Demko who's not playing, so he's not playing. And then like I said, they again just injuries and stuff for
Yeah,
Vancouver that really hurt the team. So, but again, in a solid position, and then the West is gonna be crazy because you still got Edmonton. They're not even in the playoffs right now. They're a point out. You got Seattle who's coming on. They're at 500 with 23 points. And now we got St. Louis, who has won, said they won 2 in a row over here in the Metro, with beating the Rangers and Devils. They're right now at 23 points, and they're only a few wins away from actually being in a playoff
yeah.
spot. So this is going to be really interesting coming down. Like we were talking about in the podcast, and we were talking about between us. You know, we have this Thanksgiving, staple that usually most teams make the playoffs during if you're in a playoff spot during the Thanksgiving holiday, you're usually making the playoffs. But this year it's so tight. Do you think it's actually going to come to fruition that most of these teams in these playoff spots will make it? I The only I would say the Eastern Conference is pretty solid right now, just because the lower teams could fall off. But again, it's really close.
I
But
feel like you'll see more movement in the wild card than you will in the division leaders after a certain point. Like I feel like as we get closer to Christmas, you'll really see the division get more solid in where everything is.
right,
But I feel like the wild card could be moving all the time, so it's really going to be a battle for that. But
absolutely.
no, I agree. I mean, so far the East looks pretty solid. The West could be a bit of a toss up, but
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
with a
now.
couple solid games from a couple teams, it could be a different picture.
Right. And again, you got good teams that are not in the playoffs right now, like in Edmonton, who made it to the Cup Finals last
Hmm.
year. And like I said, it's one of those. Like I said, it's going to be the wild card in the West is going to be flip flopping all year. So, and again, you got that surprise team in Calgary that nobody thought of that would be, in a playoff spot right now. So do they stay in that spot right now? Do they play as a playoff team right now? Or will they fade back being a younger team? That's one of the questions right now for Calgary that you just don't know
Hmm.
yet. Like it's that's really, and not to be funny, it's a wild card technically because you don't know what they're going to be.
Yeah, you gotta hope that Calgary can. I love Calgary, so hopefully they can
So do
keep it
I.
up. They got a solid little squad over there.
Yes, they do. And again, they got a lot of former Devils that I root
Hmm.
for. That when they were on the Devils, I was pretty big fans of, especially like a Sharon Dovich and a Kevin Ball and even Blake Coleman. I always liked Blake Coleman when he was on the Devils. So it's one of those. I think I found my second team for this year. I think Calgary's going to be my second favorite. Keep an eye on them, watching them because again, they're really good, young, scrappy team, and I like those kind of teams.
Yeah, they're a fun team to watch at most times. But
Absolutely.
gang, there's 14 games on today. Go out, watch some hockey, and
Absolutely. Yeah, afternoon puck, baby. I can't wait. Let's go. Afternoon puck. Love
day
it.
starts
Black
off with the
Friday.
Rangers and Flyers. But gang, we will talk about that game and more come next week when we bring you another episode of the What the Puck podcast. I've been Nick. That's been Gunk. Gang, we
Woo!
love ya.
You got it,
Have a
bud.
good day.
Love you too,
Y'all
buddy.
stay safe. Peace, baby.
Enjoy some puck. Woo!